Okay, right on time, I think. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the second session of PrestaShop Project Live Update of the year. And let's get into it. Let's get into the guest list of today's stream, today's session. My name is Christian Podemski. I'm tech evangelist for the PrestaShop project. And today with me, I have four amazing guests. One of which is Daniel, who is a core committer of the project, Jonathan, who is core maintainer of the project, Mateus, who is one of the product managers of the PrestaShop project, and last but not least, we have a special guest today, Sam Berry, who is founder of BeanShops and co-author of PrestaShop and Vue Storefront integration. So you may know what we have to show you today. But first, let's speak about today's agenda. First, I will introduce you to the event rules. Then I will share with you some news, especially about upcoming PrestaShop version. Then we will have three demos. One is from Sam, and he will show amazing world of headless and PrestaShop with usage of his integration with Vue Storefront. Then we will have a presentation from Daniel about faceted search module and evolution in it. Last but not least, we will have a full presentation, a full overview of the new product page, which is coming to PrestaShop 8.1. And this presentation will be done by Jonathan and Mateus from the open source team of PrestaShop. Last but not least, we'll host a Q&A session. So if you have any questions about the demos that you will see later, or you have any questions about the PrestaShop project in general, you may want to ask them using the chat on YouTube. And then later in the Q&A session, we will try to answer all of them. Now let's speak about event rules. As always, you can use chat to ask questions. This event is about the PrestaShop open source project. It is not about PrestaShop company. This event is public and is being recorded right now, so you can see the demo of it. You can see a recording of it later on YouTube. Last but not least, just be nice to each other and abide by the code of conduct of the PrestaShop project. And now, let's get into the project news. The only news I have to share with you today is about PrestaShop 8.1, but it's quite a big news. As of February 1st, PrestaShop version 8.1 has entered the feature freeze phase. What does it mean exactly? It means that the work on PrestaShop 8.1 still continues, but there will be no new features added to 8.1 anymore. The project is now frozen. There's no additional code added that is related to new features. And there's a huge focus now on polishing existing features, on ensuring the best quality before the beta release of the software, before the final release of the software. For that purpose, a new branch has been created named 8.1.x, which is used by all project members to work on stabilization of the PrestaShop 8.1. What are the next steps? Everyone right now is focusing on polishing the 8.1 features. This is the major goal of everyone working on the project. The next step will be to release a public beta version, and this beta version should be available in upcoming days. Last but not least, a huge news for everyone, I guess. In order to speed up the entire process of releasing PrestaShop 8.1, this time, instead of deciding of internal tests first that are being done by the QA team of the PrestaShop project, we've decided to share the build of the beta as soon as possible. That means that the beta release for you will be released at the same time as QA team starts testing the new PrestaShop 8.1. And this should help us getting the final release much quicker and possibly to find more bugs thanks to your help, thanks to the community help. Last but not least, let's talk about what's new in PrestaShop 8.1. I don't want to focus right now into the details about PrestaShop 8.1 because there will be time to do so. But to get very quickly on the list of new features, you can expect new and improved product page, which you are going to see later in the presentation of today's session. There's a new and experimental feature that allows you now to generate additional image formats, and you see there mention about WebP and Aviv, and it's not a mistake, because as you may know, WebP support was added to PrestaShop 8.0, but it doesn't really mean that there was a full support of WebP. With this new experimental feature, experimental meaning that it's behind a feature flag that you can enable using a special dedicated page in backoffice, you would be able to generate real WebP images, real Aviv images with WebP or Aviv extension. So you could later load those images using, for instance, picture tags in your theme. What else? There's a great addition when it comes to products and managing them. For instance, you will be able to manage availability labels for each combination separately. For the V8 and previous version, it wasn't the case. You could have set up a combination for the flat product, for the general product, but you couldn't do it for each combination separately. You will have better control over products that are discontinued and no longer available, which means that you have better control over whether you want to redirect them to 404 page, or you want to return 410 status code, and so on and so forth. There's a new feature that allows access employees to the front office without providing their IP addresses, which is a nice addition. To the existing feature that works in a way that when you provide the IP address, even in the maintenance mode, you can still access the store. With the new switch that was added to PrestaShop 8.1, it's just a matter of changing one option, and all logged in employees will have access to the front office store's front office. Last but not least, two things more for developers. You'll be able to enable Store Profiler, which is a tool to measure performance of your front office and back office directly from the back office, in a place where for now you was able to change the status of the developer mode. And last but not least, there's plenty of improvements for developers, but for those, documentation is in progress. We'll communicate about them later in upcoming weeks through the buildprestashopproject.org, through developer documentation, and through, obviously, live updates. So this is it about PrestaShop 8.1 and feature freeze. But feature freeze for PrestaShop 8.1 also means that the work around PrestaShop 9.0 has begun. And this is a great time for starting investing into the project. It's a great time for many to start participating in the project, because it simply allows us to accept more contributions, more new features, more new breaking changes, and so on and so forth. So if you want to start participating in the project, if you have any ideas on how we could improve the PrestaShop core, how we could improve merchants' expertise, experience, developers' experience, you may want to discuss with us through GitHub discussions, which we enable in January. So if you have any questions, if you have any ideas, make sure to join GitHub discussions. Make sure to create a new discussion so we can discuss any new features that could be potentially integrated with your help to PrestaShop 9. And that's it when it comes to the news. And now let's switch to the demos, so the thing that you are all waiting for. And the first guest of today with the first demo is Sam. So I will now invite Sam to the stage.
Yeah.
Hey there.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. So I'm adding your slides to the stream, so you can have full control over there. and I will leave you now on the stage so you can present. Ajay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. I'm very very happy to see you all. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Sam. I'm founder of PrestaShop, and I've been giving e-commerce services to online businesses for 6 years with a professional team. I'm an active member of Vue Storefront community and maintainer of PrestaShop integration. Probably I've some accepted PRs on pull requests on PrestaShop core. First, let me thank you for the opportunity and supporting community projects, and good to see the community members on this call. I'm looking very much forward, just digging a bit deeper into new concepts. But in this presentation, I try to give you a small overview of PWA and headless concepts. Okay, next slide. What we did. If you want to build front-end application, modern front-end applications, we need REST APIs. You probably know that I've developed a REST API module for PrestaShop. Using this module, you can expose your PrestaShop core functionalities through API. I've just used front-end controllers to build this REST API module. So we built interesting things based on the REST API. One of them is a new storefront, really a new theme based on Vue Storefront technology. Okay, that's all about what we did. And 3 tiers of architecture. Okay, I'm going to talk a little about web architecture and PWA. Here we have the traditional 3-tier software architecture. You already know about that. It's about software architecture, so it's not specific to web apps, but almost all of the traditional web apps fall into this category. Presentation, business logic, or application logic, database, or persistent layer. And what we have in the PrestaShop side. In presentation layer, we have Smarty, JS, which are packaged in themes, controllers and business classes in application layer, and database. It's like any other MVC application. For example, if you want to register as a new user to PrestaShop, PrestaShop will show us a Smarty form. When we submit the form, it will be passed to controllers, and finally the information will be stored in database. All of the process will be handled by PrestaShop. Okay, PrestaShop is a monolithic software. It's included all of the layers in one software bundle, which is great. Monolithic software is perfect for most of the small to medium-sized businesses, SMB businesses. But if they are about to grow, they should not be limited by technology. I believe that nobody needs a supercomputer setup to start selling, and growth is a journey. Okay, monolithic software has a main characteristic. It's hard to break it down into smaller parts. Okay, if you want to tolerate more load on our website, now we should scale up our applications, adding more CPUs, RAM, storage, but we need to spread it out on different nodes. And finally, a fully distributed and loosely coupled system. Okay, I don't want to talk about such a scale application, but a good starting point to break the system could be presentation layer. Okay, what about headless? By definition, headless is just separation of backend and frontend. And headless is just a new buzzword. It's not a technology. We have different types of PWA with different implementations. And the term headless is just referring to a specific type of PWA. First, let's see what is a PWA, a little bit about PWA. PWA brings native mobile application smoothness into a web world. So this way, with PWA, we will get the best of both worlds, being mobile friendly and gaining a web reach, actually gaining the power of the web. Take attention, we are in commerce context, so the PWA must be SEO friendly. In PWA, we have two main patterns that I try to describe each of them. It's necessary to have a basic understanding, I believe. Usually SPAs are somehow client-side rendered PWAs, CSR PWAs, and MPAs are SSR PWA. And next slide is about CSR and SSR. Okay, I'm talking about client-side rendering and server-side rendering. But what are these important concepts? It's all about the first request, the initial request, actually how Google crawlers will see our web page. That makes the first request is very crucial for us. Here you see the result of both renderings and how search engine will see our content. Left hand is CSR and right is SSR. Let me explain with a more tangible example. Okay. Let's start with client-side approach. Think of you request a page, and the page will be loaded on your browser along with a JavaScript application. Then this JavaScript will fetch other data and then will render them and then will put them on the screen. And after a while, maybe milliseconds or 2 seconds. So the initial version is just like a template. It's an empty content. So we call this template app shell. But in server-side approach, on the right side of the image, the application will be completely rendered on the server. So when we call a web page, when we visit a web page for the first time, we will get a complete rendered HTML. You see, the JS application needs to be run on a server. This is a big difference with client-side rendering approach. In PrestaShop, our runtime environment is PHP, but we need Node.js runtime to run our application. Just a quick note, it's just like the way PrestaShop does it by default. PrestaShop renders TPL pages, which we call it classic SSR server-side rendering. But here, our Node.js application, Node.js server will render pages. Okay. We have some existing modules on PrestaShop add-ons. You know, there are some PWAs modules on add-ons, but most of them use CSR client-side rendering approach to load pages and to give smoothness. CSR is a good option for panels and dashboards, but in PrestaShop context, we need in PrestaShop and e-commerce context, we need web pages to be rendered on a server. Yeah, now you can guess how we decoupled backend from front-end from backend. But how the Node.js application will communicate with our backend? Through an API, I already mentioned. Through the API, you can connect any front-end to your website. This way, front-end has been decoupled completely from your backend. What about benefits? Let's check two major MPA or SSR rendered PWA benefits. Simply, the first benefit of SSR PWA is that it brings smoothness to your website while remaining SEO friendly. You will have PWA features in addition to the modern tool set to manage your front end. And second benefit could be a new way to add a level of scalability to your platform. And the Vue Storefront integration with PrestaShop. Vue Storefront core is a base structure for e-commerce, built with Nuxt.js and Storefront UI library. Vue Storefront team is specialized in front technology. The idea is to have a front end for e-commerce that is platform agnostic. So I found it a good place to follow their front end standards to build an integration with PrestaShop. This is a community project, so we definitely need your help to make it better. You can help us in many forms: sponsoring, supporting, submitting pull requests. I've also created some tutorial to help people to start learning and contributing. If you're interested, you can find me on Vue Storefront Discord channel, or you can direct me, message me. And final word: this project aims to show that if you choose PrestaShop, your growth it will be not limited, at least in terms of front-end options. PrestaShop is a lightweight solution, and there are good APIs around it. So literally, you can connect anything to it. And that is all. Thank you. Now let's have a quick demo of Vue Storefront integration. Let me share my screen. Okay. This is my local setup for Vue Storefront. Yes. Here we have a fresh installation of Vue Storefront integration with PrestaShop. You can see the menus and featured products. Let me add something to my basket. Go to this product, and here we have combinations. It will check product availabilities. So let me log in. Okay, let's create one. Address, new address, for example, state. Yeah, the state will be fetched according to based on our REST API. We'll also check zip code. Shipping methods and pay by check, agree, and done. Yes, it has all of the basic functionalities of PrestaShop. You can do filters, and you can search. Okay, there is a bug with this menu. Anyway, yes, that is all, I think. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Can you hear me, Sam? All right.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you for your presentation. I guess we
thank
can
you
share
too.
some links to the community. So first, I will share the link to the PrestaShop project on the Vue
Yeah,
Storefront GitHub. So I'm sharing it right now, and I think we can also share the link to the GitHub repository of Bean Shops, where the REST API module is.
exactly. Yes.
Uh, let me search for it really quickly.
Let me share it with you. Okay.
I
Here is
think
the.
worth mentioning is that thanks to this technology and thanks to this approach, we can basically create a mobile application very quickly
Yeah,
that will
exactly.
work perfectly fine on
Flip,
mobile devices, on Android, on
yeah, flip
iOSs.
on YouTube.
And from what I know, you did that already, right?
I just did the integration with Vue Storefront. Flip and his great team built the Vue Storefront core, and I just connected Vue Storefront with my REST API to PrestaShop.
Okay, all right. Sounds good. I think we don't need to wait for the Q&A session to answer some questions because we do have a few. So there's a question coming from PrestaSafe.
Mhm.
Whether modules can add some data to Vue Storefront. How about checkout payment module can be easily adapted. So it's
Yeah,
basically about integrating third-party modules and solutions
yeah.
to.
Yeah, payment section is a little complex, and I can say that it's the most complex part in this integration. I've already wrote an article or added a section in the Vue Storefront documentation. You can follow that to integrate payment modules. But the most important thing is that to integrate payment modules, you need to write APIs. When you write APIs for that module, you can integrate it with PrestaShop. As I said, I have already shared some guides to integrate payment modules on Vue Storefront documentation that you can do it with redirect approach. The first step is to write API, and the second is to integrate it with Vue Storefront.
Okay, sounds good. And if there's documentation, if there are some tips and tricks, instructions
Yeah,
on how to do it, then definitely worth following it. Okay, I don't see any other questions. So if there will be any questions, if there are any questions left, we can answer them at the end of the
sure, I'm
session.
here. Yeah, sure.
And for now, thank you very much, Sam, for your presentation. I hope that this
Thank you,
will this
Hussein.
could
Thank you all.
put some attention to your project because I think it's really interesting, and I hope to see you on our GitHub. I hope to see you on GitHub discussions where we could discuss together how we could implement such API
Sure,
inside the
sure.
core of PrestaShop, which should be our final goal of doing
Thank you.
headless the right way.
Thanks for this great opportunity. Very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. All right. Now let me hide this question from PrestaSafe, and I will invite on the stage Daniel, who prepared for us a little demo about faceted search module. Daniel is basically reworking entire module so it can work on every page of the PrestaShop store. Every basic PrestaShop page with the list of products. So let me invite Daniel on the stage, to the stage. Hello, Daniel.
Now I should be unmuted. Hi, guys.
You are not muted anymore. Hi, Daniel. So do you want to share your screen, or
Yeah, I
you
will.
prefer some slides for you?
I will share my screen directly. So
Okay.
let's do it. Share screen and choose the correct window, which should be this one. No, full screen and this one. Let's see. Do we see? Oh, that's
Yeah,
the one.
I think you
Perfect.
could zoom in a little. Okay. All right.
150%. This is fine. 75.
Yeah, absolutely, it's fine.
So
Okay, Andrew,
guys,
Daniel.
number one requested feature that everyone wanted on GitHub and for my clients was that faceted search only work on category pages. It wasn't easy to implement at first. That's maybe why nobody tackled the job yet, because you basically had to re-implement all the product selection queries in all the controllers, which I managed to do for all but search. So search page is currently a bit experimental. It can be sometimes slow, but we will find a way to improve it. So basically, if you update your faceted search to version 3.11, then in the back office you will find out that when you go edit the template, you will see a new option to choose a page which will use this template. So you can, for example, have one template for all the categories and second template for all the other pages, maybe with a category filter. So you will choose which controllers you want the filter to be enabled on and save it. And then if you go to any special page in PrestaShop, like new products, best sales, prices drop, you will see that filters work correctly. You can filter as usual by price, by brand, by a category, whatever. It works on all pages. I will show you new products. It works on prices drop. It works on bestsellers, and it even works on maybe a search Mac. It even works on a search page. So you search a Mac and you can filter by price or by brand and just reduce the selection a bit. We are also planning to support multiple, even custom controllers. Uh, Basically, what we need, I will show you the structure. Basically, you can build your own controllers. For example, for my clients, I have a controller that shows recommended products and products on sale and stuff like that. So basically, we are searching for a way to add this support, maybe by some hook. Let's see. And we will only need, I will show you how the module structure looks like. So basically, before when it searches the products, basically before there are some common filters that it adds to the search query, which is like group limitations and visibility limitations and your custom filters that you checked. And then there are some basic filters that or like page specific filters that it adds. So that's why I extracted the logic to a separate query. And now, for example, this is all the filters that were needed to be added for categories, which filters by n left and n right. Then for the manufacturer, we just added the ID, supplier ID. For new products, we have to calculate the time condition. For best sales, it was a left join on a sales table. And for prices drop, I have made a completely new join on a specific price table. This will also allow us to easily add a filter that will allow you to check and only select discounted products, which is not going to be hard, and I will do it in some other versions probably. So basically, if you wanted to have a new custom controller, you can just do, for example, recommended and say recommended equals 1, and you have an implementation of a custom controller. Then just some namings, some sort orders, and it's done. So the module is actually really flexible, and I think happy times are ahead. Only page that is not implemented very well is the search page. That's why it's marked experimental here, because all other pages are basically one database query. In some cases, it's even faster than the original one. For example, on the prices drop page, it was first selecting a product pool of IDs and then searching in that pool. So right now it's just on the single database query. So the selection itself should be even faster. Why I'm saying that? Because that's how I did the search page. Basically, there's no other way to filter. Let me find the function somewhere. Basically, there's no other way to filter over on the search page without leveraging the core function, the core search functionality. Because if we didn't want to replace or like recode the whole search class, there's no other easy way. We can think of some ways, but it's very complicated because it first searches the database for the keywords, then it gets the product pool, and then again it searches in the pool. So it's very difficult. And how I did it was just to leverage the search core function with passing the maximum integer size as a limit and using this in the product ID in and then the list. Could be slow, it maybe take like 30 milliseconds, 40 milliseconds to search like 1,000 products, but it's still not an ideal solution. But it works, so better than nothing. What I use for keyboard, it's a Razer Black Widow. So that's it. I'm thinking if I forgot to tell you something. There's a tiny bug. Even if you don't enable the search controller, the faceted search is still saying, hi, I want to filter your products, and it changes the order of products. I just have fixed it, and I'm just gonna push it to GitHub and release a patch version for this. But other than that, we tested it like throughoutly, and it works perfectly. Also, I don't know if you saw it, but in the faceted search module, there is a new option on the bottom where you can select a default template that's gonna be assigned to your new categories. A lot of time, my clients, they want to create a new categories, they make them, but they have no idea that there is something like a faceted search, and I always have to go through some automated checks and enable the filters for the new categories where they forgot it. So right now, if you select, I want this filter to be assigned to all new categories. If you create a category on the hook, it's hooked to the category creation, and it will automatically add the category to your filter. And I think in some, also in the last version, I have sped up the faceted search quite a bit by some maybe 10%, 15%, because we cached some features, some attributes. I simplified something. I refactored the module a bit, so it's much better now. And
if it works, it works.
yeah. And for the next version, I want to add the possibility that we would have some kind of specials, kind of group of filters where there could be like only discounted products, only new products, and maybe I will think of something else. So that's all from me, guys.
Well, what I can say, I think the comment says it all. Everyone is super happy to see this feature live in the module. I believe that was the first or the second most requested feature in the PrestaShop ecosystem. Maybe the second after the page builder. But yeah,
There's a question.
amazing job.
There's a question from Oxidan. What about implementing it with third-party modules that are extending product listing from controller? On my stores, I have two controllers like this, as I said, and it's actually very easy to modify the module, but I will do it so it's hookable. So you can basically, what we need to enable third-party controllers is their name, what filters they should apply, what sort orders we should offer, and if they want any extra tables left joined in the adapter. So it's not many parameters, and I think I will think of a way where we could place this hook and it could support external controllers also dynamically without any modifying in the modifications in the module.
Yeah, thanks to modules flexibility, there are basically limitless options to handle those pages and to create special filters based on the products and filters we provide, controls we provide.
Yep.
So amazing job, Daniel. And the module, the 3.11 is now live. You can test it. So if you want to implement it in your merchants, in your customers' shops, definitely do that. Definitely, we are waiting for the feedback about the module. And well, Daniel, thank you very much. It was
Yes.
really an amazing job, and I can't
Maybe,
wait to see what you
Christian,
are next.
can
Yeah,
I have one more question to the community that is watching?
sure.
I have found out a way to fix all issues with duplicated features and to fix the category filter and everything by just using a numeric IDs in the URL, because it will fix a category filter that doesn't work for deeper categories. It will fix an issue where you have two features with the same name, or an attribute and a feature with the same name, because faceted search has no way to find out what is what, because it's just using the namings from the controllers. If we use like a numeric attributes like this, it's gonna solve all the issues. I have the PR open and I want to know if it's a problem, because to my knowledge, these filtered pages cannot be indexed because they are marked as a duplicate. They don't have a canonical link. They have the duplicate meta titles and names and everything. So nobody should, to my knowledge, should use it for indexing. So let me know if you would be angry if this change was done or not, and
Yeah,
if
most of the
the
time it's not recommended to index anything that is dynamic, anything that is being a search result or filter result. There is also a question about availability, how to solve the issue with available. Um, it's
what do you
caused by
mean?
translations.
Yeah, Mark, basically how the availability works is that you have three options for availability. Let me show you. I will just modify one product so you know why there are three options, okay? So customizable mark, let's say that the quantity is, let's say it is 0, but it's orderable for if it's not in stock. And there should be a difference now. Yeah, basically, non-available products are those that are not in stock and cannot be ordered. Then you have products that are either in stock or they can be back orders even when they are not in stock, which is a second scenario. Or you have the products that are really in stock. They have quantity bigger than 0. That's why there are three options. If you don't use, if you just use, if you have all, if you don't use the quantities field properly or just don't use it at all, that maybe you will have a same. There can be two. It can be hidden by CSS or with the template modifications, but if it's a common request, I think there's no problem in adding a configuration to the field. So basically, if you go to the template, to the filter template settings, maybe we could add to the stock filter some kind of settings. What features do you want to show? In stock, available, not available, so everybody can easily configure it from this interface. We can discuss it on GitHub discussions if you want. That could be maybe a
Exactly.
nice feature.
Exactly. And last but not least, in Polish language, there was an issue with translations. So there was an available phrase and the second available phrase. One of which was for the available, like a real available products that you can order, and the second was for available that you can back order or something like this. The differentiation that you mentioned in Polish language, it was to the same filter. There was the same phrase for both of the filters.
Huh.
Maybe it was the case in other languages too, but we are aware of this issue and we are trying to fix the translations problems in all the native modules, but that's the topic for another discussion for the future. Anyway, thank you very much, Daniel. It
No
was
worries.
great to see it live. It is great to see it live. And now let's invite finally Mateus and Joe so they can show us the new product page that is coming to PrestaShop 8.1. Thank you, Daniel. All right, I removed myself. That was not the plan. All right, Mateus, Jonathan.
Hi.
Hello, guys.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the product page presentation.
Cool, thanks. Just to say that I feel like it's Christmas again. Thanks, Daniel. It's a very cool feature. I know it's what wanted from many merchants. So today with Jonathan, we are going to show you what's been the new feature on the product page. We have shared to you many demos, bit by bit, of the progress of the page. Maybe it's a good time to share you the whole of the page today. And like I said, we're going soon to be on beta phase. So don't hesitate to test the page, share feedbacks around it if you find some issues or improvements as you wished. To include them on the next version or to improve some bugs. Okay, so to do this new page presentation, I think I'm going to do like a different workflow of tasks which a merchant can do, like probably depending on the cases, so you can like picture a bit better the new features. So let's say I'm a new merchant that want to launch some new cool t-shirts or pullover, and I want to sell in B2B and B2C, and where I want to create different customization between my shops and how everything's going to work with a new page. So for the multi-shop user, you can see that they have some stuff that change. Okay, let me put it on all shops view, for example. So the product lists have changed a bit. We'll go on deeper details later on. So for now, my objective is to create a new product. So with a new product page, now we are forcing the user to select on which shops he wants to create the product first. This choice was made to avoid many errors that were being brought to us by merchants and agencies, where merchants were creating product in all shop contexts and creating unwanted products in different stores. So now we are focusing ourselves in one shop, and then in the shop view, the merchant will have the possibility to associate to different shops, but with simpler steps to avoid big mistakes. So I want to create my product in B2C, product with combinations. Since I want to do some pullover with different sizes and colors. So here you go. So now we have my product. I think it's better to create my combinations. So as you can see here, the combination model is not is a model now. Is not a panel on the left side of the product list, which we hope will helps the UI of the overall page, which will make it less dense. Here we go. I'm going to generate my combinations. Bam. So we can see now we have a pagination. So the pagination allow better. It's huge improvement for performances. I know that a lot of merchants are suffering of performances when the products have variation that go upper to 100s. Now you have pagination, which helps the loading of the variations, as you can see here. Done. So now one of the big issue we found also is like, how can I update the images depending of one add color attributes and apply them it quickly. So let's say I want to put the colors, the image for all my variations for the color purple. So I'm going to go here in bulk. I can select all the combinations selected, displayed on this page, or select the whole combination, which is here the same. And then I can edit the combinations. Yes, but before assigning images, I need to upload them before. So here we go. Bam. Poof. And 2 more. Okay. So now I have the different images. I'm going to assign them to the right combinations. So here you go again. So I selected purple. So I'm going to activate the modification, select purple, and apply to the combinations. So now the images are easily and quickly applied to the selected combinations. And now I can do the trick for the different colors. For coral colors, and for blue, select all, edit, oops, and here you go. So here I'm looking to my picture. I think I wanted some blue color, but I uploaded a black image. Oh no, so how we can change this? You can see my great acting. So I can, here we have a new feature, which is replace selection, which allows the user to replace an image. Before, the merchant had to delete and upload and assign again, which combination was very problematic because the feature I show you with the bulk edition for uploading the image was not available. So now I can choose the blue one and replace it. Actually, I don't need. And here we go. So I think I need to reload the lists. I think to see it up is good. Yes. I hope this new feature will help a lot the merchants to edit the combination. We know it was a huge pain. And you can also have, now you have like kind of all the different fields that can be edited quite easily. The stock. And if you can see here, the stock, now we are doing add or subtraction of stocks for the item. So that was an issue for many merchants where before it was a simple input. So when you change the stock, you will kind of reset the stock, put a new one. But between those, the resetting, if you've made like 10 cells, then the stock won't be quite accurate. So now, if you have a stock changement, you just have to say, okay, I receive 100 stock of this pullover. I can add 100, and I'm going to be sure that my stock will always be relevant. So this is a big difference from the previous page, which made a lot of stock issues. So I think I need to reload the page. That's something we can probably change before the beta. Updating the header at the end of the bulk. So I have my product for the B2C, and I want the same one, which is the same product, to be sold on the B2B store. So if you can see here, you can see, yeah, you can see only the shops that it's related to the products. So I didn't show you before, on the all store view on the head panel, we have 3 different shops for 3 different purposes: B2B, B2C, and shop free, because I didn't have more imagination to find a use case of. But we have the shop free. And to avoid issues, the header, we only display the product and the store on which is related to. This allow and avoid mistakes like writing and changing the quantity to the wrong store. So if you want to link to another store, you just have to go here, select another store. So I want to be able to the B2B, select B2B, save. And now it's available for the B2B. So on the B2B, you will have the same content. So all the product information duplicated. And this is where now I can do some changes for my product. Let's say for my B2B context, I only want my product to be sold with a minimum quantity order of, I don't know, let's say 20, and apply the changes. Close. And those changes will be only applied to the B2B and not to the B2C. New feature as well. As you can see now, for example, if I edit a new description of summary, let's say this is a new pullover. You can see that it's going only to impact B2B since the header is only on the B2B and you don't have all shop context. And this is a choice that was made to avoid issues and unwanted action. So now we have a checkbox that the merchant have to check to apply the change on the summary only to all the stores. This is allow a better security for product data changements between the stores and avoid huge impact. We have like many merchants that didn't realize there were like an all shop context and changed the price for, let's say, B2B, and that was going to impact B2C. And so they have like a lot of issues because so many orders were made and because the price was more interesting. So I can save, and the changes should be impacted in the different stores. Yes, I can breathe now. I think it's kind of all for the overall of the product page. You can see the header is more summarize all the different information quite more easily and for the eyes, I guess. And you can quickly change the product type as well. And the product type is now rendered in a model which is make more easier for the merchants to find them and to understand the difference, which was something that many merchants shared to us that didn't know there are like some packed products, for example, because it was hidden on the options. So now it's quite clear, obvious. And as a new merchant now, I want to have more custom fields, which is not provided by the PrestaShop project, the core of the PrestaShop. So we let Joe share how he can, or how developer can interact with the new product page. If Joe, you want to go on stage.
Yep, thank you. We'll share my screen as well. So as you can see, I'm also in multi-shop, but that's not that relevant in our case. So what changed in the new product page? In the old one, we had many display hooks that allowed you to put some additional inputs in some very identified places, but you couldn't really customize the page the way you wanted. So if you wanted to add an input in a specific tab or in a specific place inside the form, it was not easily doable. Now we only have one main hook, which follows the convention that we've been using in other migrated pages as well. And it's basically only a hook which is triggered and allows you to change the Symfony form. So what happens when this hook is triggered is that you get the Symfony builder that allows you to add some additional fields. So if we look at this module, example module, which you can find on GitHub, I will give you the description later. Let's say I want to add a field. I'm going to zoom in a bit. In the description tab, builder of the root elements. So in this case, I can first get the first child, which would be description and matches with this tab here. And then I can use a component that we also provide from the core, which is the builder modifier. It allows you to add some elements, just like you would do with a regular Symfony form, but you can specify add after or before a specific element. So it should help you a lot. So the idea is here is that I want to add a new text field that will be after the description. And if I, so for now I have nothing. When I refresh the page, I can see that I have now a new custom field, and I can customize it the way I want because it's based on Symfony. So you can either use the already existing native form types, you can use the custom one that were implemented by PrestaShop, or you can even add your own form types and customize them using the Symfony form sim functionality. So basically anything is possible as long as you get into it. And as you can see, then I created a dedicated custom product entity that allows me to save those data related to the product. And so I have this field here. I will show you a bit later how the saving part is handled for the product. Another example, so we already had those identify tabs, but maybe would like to have your dedicated tab because you have many fields for a specific sub-feature of the product, in which case you can also do that. So basically here, we will add a custom tab, sorry. What changes compared to the previous field, which was first we got the description field, which is the first tab. We can add some new form type directly at the root of our product form. And basically the way it's implemented with the product form now, it uses a navigation form type, which basically interprets each first level form type as a tab. So if I add my custom tab, my custom type at the root, it will be interpreted as a new tab. So when I refresh, I can see that a new tab has been added, and I want it to be between pricing and SEO. And inside this tab, I only put one field because it was enough for my use case, but you can basically put anything you want here as well. And of course, the saving also works. And finally, the third way that you could extend the product page was actually kept. It already existed. You have a hook, which is called display admin products extra, which is used by many modules currently and works on product page 1. We didn't want to break this hook because it would force all the module to adapt as soon as the product page v2 will be released. So for now, it is still available. And what it allows you is basically you can have many modules which register to this hook. They are displayed in the list. In this case, I only have one, but you can have other. And it allows you to add a small configure template, which also allows you to add some fields and save them. So in this case, it's just a quick summary of the 2 custom fields I added. But here again, what you do inside it depends on your needs. Also, I would recommend you with the product page, and now that it's available, to customize really the field in the places and in the existing tab, because it's better user experience, in my opinion. So that's the way you can customize your forms. Regarding how you can now update the data for the product form, I used a specific feature. Basically, we use CQRS command in all our new page. as you probably know. And this example shows you how you can also use a CQRS command if you want to it, but I will show you on the second example that you are not obliged to do it. But we still allowed some easy way to handle this with CQRS. So we also have a basic command which allows to update our custom field. We have the handler that is able to interpret this command when it's triggered, and it basically gets the field updates my customer product entity. So nothing really interesting here, and if you want more details, you can go into the example module. But what is more interesting here is this part. So this class is used to build the CQRS command based on the form data. That's the basic logic that we have in the whole page. Since it's a very big page, we have many different commands to split the work. And we have a generic builder, which is able, based on the whole form data, to build several commands, and each command will be executed one after another. And when you create your own custom builder, in your service definition, you can define here a tag. So just by creating this specific builder and adding this tag, it will be automatically integrated in the workflow of the page, and you don't even have to register to a specific hook. So this is a nice feature for people who like CQRS and wants to use them. But it may be complicated for other people, so don't worry. There are other ways to handle this. And to show you this, I will go into the second part, which is about the combination customization. So if I go into one combination, as you see, we can now edit them. Although Matthias didn't show it, so it's a nice addition. You can edit all the details of a combination in a modal. So the combination form is now extracted from the product one, which is a great improvement compared to the initial page, because in the V1, all the combination were actually inside the form but hidden. So you had like maybe thousands of inputs that were sent at each request, even when you didn't want to modify the combination. So now everyone has its own place, and it makes all the edition much more performant because it only updates what you need to, and it's less complex as well. So in this one, I won't enable the field one by one, but basically it's the same thing that I did for the product page. So if we look quickly into it, I also have a modifier that allows me to add the custom fields and the custom tab, even though it's not really a tab in this case because the UX is a bit different in the combination form. But I can find this custom price here, and I should have a custom field after references here. So in this case, it also works fine, but I used more legacy in a way of saving this. So if you go inside the module, so here you can find the hook that I already mentioned. So the builder modifier for the product. We can find the same for the combination form. And I extracted the part that modified the form inside the dedicated service, but you could do it all inside the module hook if you want. It's up to you. I just find it cleaner to separate the concern and the task. And if we go inside this hook, so it's an automatic hook that is triggered in all our forms, and basically it's a hook action after update. So after the form has been submitted and updated, there is this hook which is triggered, and it allows you to get the form data, which was already sent to the PrestaShop form. And with this, I can get the ID of the combination that was being executed, and I can find also the data that were in the form and especially the ones from my custom fields, and it allows me to simply update my object model and save the modification in the database. So this is another way that you can bind yourself to the form and update your data, which may be easier to do if you don't want to use CQRS command. And that's basically it. Also, I wanted to show maybe some things that Matthias didn't show about the multi-store, especially in the product list.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if you go into the product list with the all shop context, but you will have the same thing in group shop, you will notice that we have a new column that allows you to see which stores are actually associated to each of your products. When you try to edit a product from the old shop, you can't directly do it because we need to know which store you need to edit. So that's why you have a model that asks you before redirecting you which store you actually want to edit. Here you will have a display which is the value of the default shop of your product, because even if when you have multiple shops, you always have one of the shops which is considered the default one. So since we need to display some data, we are based on this, but you can have the detail of each shop if you click here, and then you can see for every shop that is associated to the product, what are its values for the price. And then you can also choose to enable or disable it shop by shop. We also adapted the action. So for example, if you want to disable this product for all store, you can do it from this drop-down action. And here you can see that they were correctly disabled everywhere. And then you can choose to enable for specific shops, and it won't be edited for this one. Just refresh in case you don't trust me. So you have the same logic when you are in a group, except it will only show you the store that are adapted to the group so that it remains consistent, but that's basically the same thing. And you will see that we also adapted all the labels. So it's a small thing, but at least it's very specific and explicit what you're actually doing, because most of the problem with multi-shop was that there were lots of actions that were kind of hidden, so you don't always realize what you're doing if you're not paying attention to the context you are in. So that's why we just emphasize on the wording. You are deleting from group, associating and stuff like that. So if I delete this product from this group, for example, now, of course, it's not shown inside this group anymore because no shops from the group is associated to this shop. But if I go back to the old shops, the product has not been completely deleted. It's only associated to only two shops. And as you can notice, since the initial default shop was unassociated, it automatically associated with a new one. And one last thing that I think we didn't show you, it's about the images. So when you have images, they are also associated depending on your shop. So what was a bit complicated to handle before was to understand which, let me find my images. Okay. Like which image is associated to which shop. We have a PR that is still under progress and should be merged quickly, so you will see easily which image is actually associated to your shop, but we need to show all the images. So if you want to then edit them, you can handle the manage images there, and you can easily choose which image is associated to which shop. So it makes it much easier to handle all your images in multi-shop as a bulk. And if you unassociate the image to all the shops, then it's considered as a deletion. So the image will be completely removed, but we just added a warning so that you don't delete them by mistake. And I think that's it, Mateus, unless you have other things that I may have forgotten.
No, but yeah, what is very interesting with the preview, I think I spent too much time in this room, normal lights. What is very interesting in this feature on the preview is merchant didn't understand what was the information displayed on all shop context, the stock value, the price value, because it can be customized by shops. So here we hope to make it clear like which content of which store is displayed on which shop. And the ability to have the preview is to have like a quick way to understand the whole data of your product.
Yeah. Oh, and just one quick thing I wanted to show you as well. You have the possibility to share the stock of all the shop in a group. So it's a configuration that is set on the group itself. So for example, in this case, I said that the second group shares its stock, which means if you edit the stock for the shop 3 here, nope. It's a combination, but example, although it would also work, but it would be easier here. When you edit the stock of shop 3, so I set it to 9, it will also update, of course, the stock for the shop 4 because it's actually the same stock. And you can also see it inside the product list. You will see that both those stock will always be synced in this case. I believe there was a few bugs relating to this feature in the old page, so now it should work much better.
I see there's a question from PrestaWork apps, which is a very good question. The use case for Jonathan is like when I open different tabs with different context shops, what happens if I save from the shop A that my other tab is on shop B.
Yep.
We have noticed the issue here. We hope to fix it for the beta. We are not sure, but the idea is to display a warning. No, not for the beta. Well, at least for the V9.
Yeah.
But the idea behind is to display a warning if the shop context we have detected that your form that you are saving, the shop context has changed. So if you have opened the product page on a shop A, and the shop context becomes a B, and then when you save, we know that you are still displaying the shop A, but now it's shop B. We should like display a warning to warn you. That's something that you don't have time to do before the feature freeze. But anyway, actually, it's a huge improvement because I think you couldn't do like this kind of stuff in the V1.
Yeah, actually, the problem with the shop context is that it's saved in a cookie which is shared on the whole shop. So if you change your text in one tab, it impacts the other tabs. What we plan on doing would be to not rely on the value in the cookie anymore, at least in the product page, because we won't be able to modify this everywhere. But the product page would be the first page to implement this new way of handling multi-shop. And the shop context would be part of the URL that you have here. So we will specifically indicate you are editing this product in this shop. And another tab could have, I'm editing the same product in a different shop, and each tab could be independent and thus allowing you to have multiple tabs in different shops. But we didn't have time to implement it for the V8.1 yet. So we hope we will have more time for V9, and since it can have many side effects, it was kind of dangerous to force it. So it was better to wait for a bit, but hopefully it will be a nice new feature for the V9.
it could be a very nice feature for the V9. We still need to see if they have like more interest behind multi-store features. So if you have more ideas to share, don't hesitate to go on discussion on GitHub to share feedback around how we can improve the multi-store experience as a developer and for merchants. I see that another question from Machen06. Can I associate an image to a feature or create a feature group? Also, can I display the price without tax or with tax? Normally, you should be able on the different shop to display different prices. Like you can, the tax rule is independent, so it can be like customized by shops. If I don't say any, if I'm correct. And for features, I'm not sure to understand. Like you want by like automatic image loading, like for example, for if you know like your feature is blue, that is load directly a product in blue on your images. I'm not sure, it's not available. Discuss maybe on Slack on discussions to see what can improve. But for now, you have a quick way to update images quite easily by featuring on the combination list.
Yeah, about the taxes, I just checked it and it's doable because most of the configuration are multi-store, including the one that indicates if you want to enable the tax or not. So, well, my shop don't have relevant name, but if we take your example, you could enable tax display for B2C, but hide it for B2B, for example.
Guys, an amazing job, really. Huge congratulations to everyone involved, because this is really a huge step forward for everyone working with PrestaShop, for merchants, for developers. The new page is absolutely fantastic. So kudos to you guys, kudos to everyone involved. It was really an amazing to see how smooth everything is, especially working with combinations should be a no-brainer right now for merchants. So it really is an amazing job. And we can see by seeing on the comments that everyone is very excited to try the new product page. The new product page, which is available to test on 8.1 right now. If you download it from GitHub, it will be enabled by default on the beta version of 8.1. Whether it will be enabled in the final version, it depends on the tests. Tests from quality assurance team, tests from you, from community. I believe that it's so well thought out and it's so good right now at the moment, then there's a big chance for having it enabled by default. I really believe it. And I really hope, fingers crossed, for that to happen.
And just also a question, I hope he's going to do a really clean base for the product page to make it easier also for contribution with a new with this page. I hope we can see like more feature requests and improvement from the community, because now all the bases are cleaned. I've been discussing with developers like just this morning, saying that the virtual product is not good enough, stuff like that. So now I hope it's going to be easier for everyone to make it better.
I'm sure it will, especially since the page is almost fully tested by beta tests. There's really a huge job being done about automated tests, about writing scenarios for end-to-end testing using JavaScript. So there's a few layers of automated tests which should enable us to work on this page quicker and better. It's 5:24, so I think we can pass on the question and answer session. It was really an amazing event. It was really amazing to see all the presentations from Daniel, from Sam, from you guys. So I would like to everyone for watching today's demo. and I hope we will manage to show something as much interesting as today for the next month, because that was a killer presentation today. But that was a killer presentation. But worth noting is the fact that a lot of other new features are coming to 8.1, which we are going to show you next month. So it won't be at the same level, but we will do our best. So thank you everyone. Thank you for presenting. Sam, Daniel, Mateus, Jonathan, thank you for your time, and see you next month.
Thank you, Christian.
Bye,
everyone.
Bye.